Hey everyone, welcome to A Great Alternative. In today's video, it's actually going to be inspired by another YouTube channel, Much Props, and one of their videos. With their blessing, I'm going to be using their mental block ideas for my own creative project, making the simplest wand I think I'll ever make. Humpty Dumpty Dum. Oh look, a stick! Now, this wasn't exactly where I found this stick, but it may as well be a reconstruction. It was that easy. Mental block idea number 1. Practice mindfulness or meditation. Clear your mind and focus on the present moment to reduce stress and anxiety. Idea number 2, exercise. Physical activity can boost creativity and improve mood, helping to break through those mental barriers. Now, for me, that exercise doesn't have to be going to the gym. I'm lucky enough, I'm surrounded by hills. Just climbing a hill is enough to get my breath short, to get my heart pumping. And also it's perfect for idea number 1, because when you reach the top of the hill, a place like this, what better place to just sit and have a moment to yourself and take in just natural beauty that's around you. Okay, now, I think we should probably get started on a wand. What do you reckon? Mental block idea number 3, set smaller goals. Break down the problem into smaller, more manageable tasks to make it less overwhelming. How I'm doing that, first up, is just to clean this off. So I did collect this, I'm not lying, I did collect this from the forest floor. I checked it to make sure that it wasn't rotten all the way through. That's why it's a little bit shorter, because I snapped it to have a look inside. It looks okay. All I'm gonna do is just clean up all the different gunk and different bits and pieces off of this wand, and I'm gonna use this brush here, which is just like a wire brush, or if I need to, I do have a gouge. So that's why at this stage I'm breaking this down into smaller tasks, which is first up, cleaning it up, and that's it. It's a really simple task. Hopefully it's something that I'm pretty confident I can do well. And at this stage, I don't necessarily need to think about steps 3, 4, 5 ahead of myself. How am I gonna end it? How am I gonna finish it? I'm just seeing it as I'm trying to just release some of that beauty that's hidden behind the bits of dirt. And by doing this super simple task, it helps me keep confident about continuing the rest. Right, I'm pretty happy with how that's come out. Brings me on to the next mental block idea. Limit distractions. Create a conducive environment for focus by eliminating distractions or clutter. Seriously though, the way that I do this is kind of twofold. So firstly, it's how I balance sort of work, which for me can often be, unlike when I'm out and about shooting and taking photos, it can often be sat at a computer and getting out in the outdoors. What I personally try and do is, if I can, obviously I don't stick to this every single day, but have a kind of 50-50-ish ratio for being outside, just in the outdoors. Sometimes that's like today, that's doing this, that is technically filming, that's working, but sometimes it's just walking the dog. We've got to do that every day anyway, so we take turns, myself and Alicia, but sometimes I'll just go out and give Echo a second walk, or just go out myself, and then having time inside at the computer, because I find that when I'm then inside, just like vice versa, if I was outside burning energy and doing something with my hands all the time, I'd get tired of it. You know, you get tired of doing the same thing all the time. Just like if you're sat inside and you're sat just staring at a screen for 12 hours a day, which I've done plenty of times when I've been editing. That's why now, especially since moving here, I live 10 minutes down the road from here. So why not just get outside and just kind of give yourself that time? And then a couple of obvious ones. I don't have my phone facing up. Sometimes I will put it on do not disturb so that only particular people can call me, or it will make a noise for particular people. Also, a lot of the social media apps I don't have notifying me on the phone, so it's not bleeping every blooming 30 seconds and therefore kind of distracting me away from that. For you, it could be a lot of different things. So yeah, just try your best to just limit those distractions and focus in on what it is that you're doing, which in this case is being creative. Now, I feel like I want to move. I'm still not sure where to put the camera. Next on the list is mental block idea number 6. Learn something new. Engage in activities that stimulate your brain and expand your knowledge base. This is something that has stuck with me for a long time, and it's something that a mentor of mine while I was at film school inspired me by saying, on every single creative project that you do, on every project that you do, you should try something new and challenge yourself. Especially doing something creative, it's easy to get stuck or kind of pigeonhole yourself in something that you know works. You know, maybe if you've got customers, you know they are happy with that every time, so you just do the same thing, you keep churning out the same thing. But if you're like me and you enjoy being creative, challenging yourself, trying something new, that's what fuels that creativity. Today, the way I'm going to be doing that is twofold. Firstly, it's something that's semi-new to myself, which is carving a spiral into the wand. What I haven't tried before is on a wand as thin as this, so it's going to be a bit tricky, plus it's a sort of slightly awkward shape, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge. Plus, I'm going to be trying something completely new. It's an idea from a fellow YouTuber, and that's a way of burning in a ring into the wand. And to do that, I'm going to be using a guitar string. Don't know how it's going to go. When I've tried this before with a piece of just steel wire, it was really messy, didn't really work, and I'm hoping that the kind of abrasiveness of a guitar string is going to work really well. But again, for this project, that's going to be my challenge and something that will be totally new. If you're interested, I've done a wand video where I delve really deep into all the different stages of making a wand, including how to do this spiral here. So I'm not going to go into detail how to do this, but in essence, it's either draw your spiral or just I mark it down by pressing down with the knife all the way around, and then use a stop cut, which is cutting in and cutting in like this. Once you've done that, get your sandpaper, and then I use a stick to just get the right diameter and just sand away the spiral. That's it. This is the part of the creative process that I can find the hardest sometimes. When you're almost finished and you're at that point where you can add more, but you're not quite sure. And that leads me on to the next idea. Challenge negative thoughts. Identify and challenge negative beliefs or self-doubt contributing to the mental block. I worry about that on creative projects all the time, but especially on creative projects that in essence are for me. I'm not creating something for another person, i.e. like a job where I've been paid to do it. And a prime example of that is YouTube. I struggle a lot with feeling like, who cares? Who cares what I think? Who cares about the one that I make? Are the videos that I make any good? Is my filmmaking boring? Is it interesting? But fundamentally, who cares? And often at this stage of the project, if it's making a video, but like I say, like with making a wand, those negative thoughts start to come in because you're near the end, you're near the potential, wow, I'm really happy and I've finished it and that's done. And this is, I find, when those thoughts of, well, did you try that? And you should have tried that. And actually, if you'd done that, but then what's the point? Who cares? Why is anyone going to like that? It doesn't even matter. Just make a decision. Why are you doing that way? No, don't do it that way. Do it like this. And all of these negative thoughts come in and almost potentially get to that point where a project can get kind of ruined creatively, and that block can stop you like a brick wall at this part of the process. And for me, this one is the major one. And why did I start this channel? Why do I make things? Why do I craft? It's purely because I just love to create. I love to make things, and that's films as well as that's things with my hands. And if I can share that with people, that's also what I really want to do. Do I want millions of views and fame and money and all that rubbish? No, I don't. I just want to continue making things. And that's for me, and how I deal with the mental block at this point is to keep telling myself, why am I doing this? And that can be difficult. Like this, YouTube isn't a job. This would be a great time for me to say like, share, subscribe, all of that. I'm doing this purely because I enjoy it. I'm using it as a way to meet people, to learn from people, and to share skills. So it's really easy to struggle to let those negative thoughts in and to let yourself get carried away with the negative thoughts, and therefore potentially have another mental block stop you throughout a creative process. But that brings me on to the next mental block idea, which is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and acknowledge that it's okay to struggle sometimes. For me, in the channel or anything that I'm making by hand at the moment, I'm not making them for anyone. I'm not doing it as a job. This and this I'm doing for me. And what is the most important thing for me as a creative is having complete creative control to do whatever I want, to have the control to just have fun, play. That's getting out into the woods. That's treating the woods like my craft store, finding weird and wonderful things in the woods. That's a really enjoyable experience. When I came across something like this, that's like finding gold. It's like, oh, it's so pretty, and it's basically a wand already. Like, wow. And then something else that I'm going to get to at the end is the shape of this wand. How flat it is. Just nature is amazing. And then to go from there to try out some new things, to be in a beautiful place like this, use it as a reason to get out into the wilderness and just to enjoy the creative process, whether it be something that is going to take you less than an hour or whether it be something that takes you weeks. So for me, this mental block idea is really to tell myself why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this creative thing? Sometimes it's really great to talk to people. I've got an amazing wife, and Alicia talks to me. I've talked her ear off many a time where I can see the face go because I'm talking about a creative idea, and sometimes that's when I'm getting really passionate about an idea, and sometimes that's when I'm getting down on myself about the idea. And it's really great to voice and talk to someone, especially a loved one who knows you really well, and talk about the things that you're going through and why you're going through it, and it can really help. Also, by getting out to places like this, meditating, doing all of some of these other notes, the little things here and there, taking time to yourself to avoid distractions. That's the way I get over what I can find to be the most difficult part of a project and move on to feeling confident within myself and within the creative project that I'm doing. Like the wand. Next stage is finishing it off. So sanding. And then I've also got some wax. This is a beeswax and almond oil, and all I'm going to be doing is covering it over the whole thing and then just rubbing it in with my hands. This is a food safe beeswax. It's actually used on leather products. I got it from Journeyman Handcrafts if you're interested in buying one. And I find it doesn't necessarily add a lot. I think it will deepen the color on this a little bit, but it's not going to necessarily change the entirety of the piece itself. And then once I've done that, I'll be finished. Sun's moved so much now that I can't get in the shade anymore, so I'm gonna be a beacon of light and hopefully get this finished fairly quick before I turn into a lobster. So, final mental block idea. Celebrate small victories. Acknowledge and celebrate your progress, no matter how small, to maintain motivation and momentum. For me, what does that look like? Celebrating that the one's finished. To skip back a bit, what I ended up doing was sanding it first. On the spiral, I used 60, 80, 120, then 150 grit. And then I ended up sanding 120 and 150 all over, just to kind of take off any more rough edges. And I think that it really did bring out some of that character in this wand. And also the guitar string didn't really work. That wasn't a big surprise because I couldn't really clamp it properly, but I learned something. I'll do something different next time. What I ended up doing is where I'd done the guitar string, I put in this little cross. Well, I quite like how it pops away from the rest of the wand. And actually it's inspired me for something that I'll do on my next project, which will be probably like runes or lettering or symbols of something like that, carving into the wood itself. Then, like I mentioned, last thing was to add the wax. This stage just absolutely brought it to life. Those colors just are so rich and it just adds so much to the wand, especially on this flat side. I just absolutely love the detail. Just nature is just so beautiful, and it brings me back to why this is a small victory. I haven't had to do much to this wand, but I'm really pleased with the result. I was actually struggling with this video. Oh, actually, one more thing. Any Harry Potter fans out there, or the Wizarding World, why would a wand be flat? I love how this has come out so flat at the bottom. Obviously that's the way it's grown, whatever it's grown against, a rock or something, and it's just super flat. Why would a wand be made to be flat? Or why would a wand become flat? Alicia's idea and my friend Sarah's idea, who are big Harry Potter fans, their idea was maybe that a giant squished it or some kind of giant magic was used, which is why it got crushed. What do you think? Please, comments down below.
Giants? You found them?
Well, they're not that hard to find, to be perfectly honest. They're so big, see?
So I was struggling with this video because this idea was so simple. I was struggling to think, well, I need to make it more complicated. I need to make this video into something that's more than just me finishing this wand really simply. And it just so happened that I came across, so I'm going to thank them again, much props. The channel, much props. They do loads of different things to do with props, and they did the video that inspired this one. So I really hope that you found this entertaining, maybe interesting, and that hopefully you've been inspired to go out there and be creative and just do something, whatever it might be. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be a big project, doesn't have to be a wand, it can be whatever your heart desires. Just go out there and create. Just, yeah. Lastly, if you like this video, you'll really like my journey into wand making, a kind of deep dive into every step of the process, making a load of different wands and trying out a load of different styles and creative techniques. So thanks again everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.